My beloved child, pause for a moment and breathe this in, because what happened last night was not random. While the world around you was quiet, while you were unaware and resting in your own thoughts, someone was wide awake. Not distracted. Not scrolling. Not laughing with others. Just thinking. Deeply. Intensely. And every single thought led back to you. Don't skip this moment. There is a reason you were guided here. Last night, your soulmate was lost in reflection. The room was silent, but their heart was not. Something shifted inside them. A realization they had been avoiding gently rose to the surface. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, but powerful. They replayed your conversations. They remembered your smile. They felt the weight of your absence. And here is what will surprise you. They weren't thinking about what you did wrong. They weren't questioning your worth. They were questioning themselves. Why did they hesitate? Why did they hold back? Why did they pretend not to feel so deeply? Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There was a moment, a very specific moment, when they closed their eyes and admitted something they have never said out loud. They admitted that you changed them. That your presence unsettled them in the best way. That your energy made them confront parts of themselves they were not ready to face. And that scared them. Not because of you, but because loving you would require courage. Last night was different. Instead of pushing the feeling away, they sat with it. They allowed the truth to rise without resistance. And the truth was simple, but life-altering. They miss you in ways they don't understand. This wasn't just nostalgia. It wasn't boredom. It wasn't loneliness. It was clarity. A clarity that arrives only when the heart gets tired of pretending. Something inside them whispered, "You can't ignore this anymore." And for the first time, they didn't argue with that voice. Don't skip. This is the turning point. Because while you were living your life, focusing on your own growth, something shifted in the unseen. They began to see you not as an option, but as a once-in-a-lifetime connection. That realization doesn't happen casually. It doesn't happen for everyone. And it doesn't happen twice. They felt it last night. A quiet understanding that what they feel for you is rare. That your bond carries depth. That losing you completely would leave a space no one else could fill. But here is the most surprising part. They are no longer running from the thought of you. They are leaning into it. And this is only the beginning. Because what they decided in that silence, what they promised themselves in that private moment, is something that will slowly begin to show. You may not see it immediately. You may not hear it today. But the shift has already started. Stay with this story. Something huge is waiting for you. There are moments in life when everything looks the same on the outside, but inside, a quiet revolution begins. Last night was that moment for them. After sitting with the truth of their feelings, they did something they had never done before. They stopped analyzing you, and started analyzing themselves. And what they discovered shook them in the gentlest, most awakening way. Don't skip this part. You need to hear this. They realized that every excuse they created, timing, distance, confusion, was only a shield. A shield to protect their own fear of stepping into something real. Because you are not ordinary to them. You never were. You challenged them without trying. You inspired them without effort. You made them imagine a future they weren't prepared to consider. And that is why they were deep in thought. Not because they were unsure about you. Because they are beginning to understand how certain they actually feel. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. At one point during the night, they reached for their phone. Not to distract themselves. Not to scroll. But to look at your name. To look at your picture. To feel close to your presence, even in silence. And in that quiet moment, they asked themselves a question that changed everything. What if I lose this forever? That question didn't bring panic. It brought clarity. They saw how rare it is to meet someone who feels like home and mystery at the same time. Someone who brings peace and excitement in one heartbeat. They saw that you are not just a chapter, you are a turning point. This is the surprising truth. They are no longer thinking about whether they should move toward you. They are thinking about how. How to approach you without fear. How to express what they have been holding inside. How to show up in a way that matches the depth of what they feel. Because last night, they admitted something silently. You are not just someone they like. You are someone who changed the direction of their heart. And that realization is still echoing within them right now. You may not see the shift yet. You may not hear the words immediately. But energy moves before actions do. The silence between you is not empty. It is preparing something meaningful. Don't skip what's unfolding here. Because when someone spends an entire night in deep thought about you, questioning their own fears, facing their own hesitation, and choosing clarity over confusion, that is not small. That is the beginning of courage. And courage, when it finally speaks, changes everything. Just before the sun even thought about rising, they made a decision that quietly changed the course of your story. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. But it was real. As the night stretched on and their thoughts circled back to you again and again, something inside them settled. The confusion that once clouded their heart began to clear. The doubt that once held them back started to lose its power. Don't skip this. This is where everything turns. They stopped asking, "What if this doesn't work?" And started asking, "What if this is exactly what I've been waiting for?" That shift may sound small, but it is life-changing. Because when someone moves from fear to possibility, from hesitation to intention, their energy changes. And energy always moves before action. Last night, they imagined speaking to you honestly. No masks. No distance. Just truth. They imagine telling you how deeply you have stayed on their mind. How even in a crowded room, something reminds them of you. How even during busy days, your name crosses their thoughts without warning. And here is the revelation that will surprise you. They realize that the reason they couldn't shake the thought of you is because you feel like alignment. Not pressure. Not fantasy. Alignment. You fit into their life in a way they didn't expect. Your personality, your spirit, your way of seeing the world, it all connects in ways that feel rare. And that kind of connection does not come often. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They understood something else too, something deeply personal. The reason they were so quiet before was not indifference. It was the weight of how serious this feels to them. You are not casual in their heart. You are significant. And significance requires courage. As the first light of morning began to touch the sky, they made a silent promise to themselves. A promise to stop underestimating what this connection means. A promise to stop pretending they are unaffected. A promise to move differently. Not rushed. Not forced. But intentional. You may still feel distance right now. You may still wonder what they are thinking. But now you know. They were deep in thought last night because they are waking up to the truth of what you are to them. And once someone truly wakes up to that kind of realization, they cannot go back to sleep. There is a difference between thinking about someone and realizing you cannot imagine your future without them. This is the stage they reached. As morning unfolded and the world resumed its normal rhythm, they carried the weight of the night's clarity with them. Every routine felt slightly different. Every task felt quieter. Because beneath the surface, one truth kept echoing. You matter more than they allowed themselves to admit. Don't skip this moment. What you're hearing now is the breakthrough. They began to see patterns. The way they compare others to you without meaning to. The way your laughter replays in their memory at unexpected times. The way your absence feels louder than any distraction. And then came the most surprising realization of all. They are not afraid of loving you. They are afraid of losing you. That is why they hesitated. That is why they stepped back. That is why they seemed uncertain. Not because their feelings were weak. Because their feelings are strong. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. During that deep reflection, they understood that connections like this do not arrive often. You are not just someone they met at a random point in life. You appeared during a season when they were changing, growing, searching. And you fit into that transformation perfectly. They started imagining what it would look like to show up fully. To speak clearly. To remove the distance that once felt safe but now feels heavy. And here is the quiet promise they made. They will not let fear decide this story. That decision may not come with fireworks. It may not happen overnight. But it changes everything. Because when someone decides to move with intention instead of hesitation, the energy shifts immediately. You may feel a subtle change soon. A message that feels different. A tone that feels warmer. An effort that feels genuine. It will not be random. It will be the result of that night. The night your soulmate was deep in thought. Not questioning you, but preparing themselves. Preparing to step forward. preparing to be honest, preparing to risk something meaningful. And once someone prepares their heart like that, they do not forget. They act. What they felt next was not just emotion, it was certainty. After that long night of reflection and the quiet promise they made to themselves, something unexpected happened. The noise inside their mind faded. The overthinking slowed. The doubts that once felt so loud became distant echoes. In their place, one steady truth remained. You are not temporary in their life. Don't skip this. This is the realization that changes the direction of everything. Throughout the day, they tried to focus on ordinary things. Conversations. Responsibilities. Distractions. But no matter what they did, a calm but persistent thought followed them: this connection deserves honesty. And that thought did not feel heavy. It felt right. Here is the shocking part: not dramatic, not unrealistic, but deeply real. They started picturing a future where you are not a question mark, but a constant. Not a possibility. Not a maybe. A presence. That vision startled them. Because for the first time, imagining you beside them did not feel overwhelming. It felt natural. Peaceful. Aligned. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They understood something profound. The reason they were deep in thought last night was not confusion about you. It was the weight of how serious this feels. You represent growth. You represent depth. You represent a love that asks them to be better, clearer, braver. And that kind of love is rare. They realized they would regret silence more than vulnerability. They would regret distance more than effort. They would regret losing you more than risking their pride. That shift is powerful. Because once someone chooses courage over comfort, the story begins to move. You might sense it soon, a subtle change in how they speak to you. A softness in their words. A steadiness in their presence. A feeling that they are no longer halfway in. This is not coincidence. This is the outcome of a night where your soulmate sat alone, heart open, finally admitting what you mean to them. And here is the truth you were meant to hear. When someone spends an entire night confronting their feelings and wakes up with clarity instead of doubt, they are no longer drifting. They are preparing to step toward you. Something huge is waiting for you. And this time, they are ready. By the time the next evening approached, they were no longer the same person who lay awake the night before. Something had settled into their heart like a quiet sunrise, gentle, undeniable, impossible to ignore. All day, they carried you with them. Not as a distraction. Not as a fantasy. But as a decision forming in real time. Don't skip this moment. This is where the invisible becomes real. They began noticing signs they once overlooked. The way your words linger longer than anyone else's, the way your energy feels familiar even in silence, the way thinking about you brings calm instead of chaos. And then it happened. They stopped asking whether they should reach out. They started thinking about when. That shift is powerful. Because when someone moves from hesitation to timing, they are no longer questioning the connection. They are preparing to honor it. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Last night was about realization. Today is about intention. They replayed that deep night of thought in their mind, the honesty, the clarity, the quiet promise. And instead of fading, it grew stronger. The feeling did not disappear with daylight. It intensified. They understood something that surprised even them. You are not just a feeling. You are alignment at the right time in their life. That is rare. That is once in a lifetime. They began imagining the moment they finally speak openly. The relief of saying what they truly feel. The courage of stepping forward without masks. The freedom of no longer pretending to be unaffected. And here is the most meaningful part. They are no longer afraid of what you might say. They are more afraid of never trying. That realization changed their posture, their tone, their energy. Even if you have not seen it yet, the shift has already happened inside them. Energy always moves first. Action follows. You were on their mind last night because their heart was waking up. And when a heart wakes up to something real, it does not go back to sleep. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the next move in this story will not come from confusion. It will come from courage. Right now, as you are listening to this, their heart is no longer silent. It is steady. It is clear. It is ready. The deep thoughts that filled their night have transformed into something stronger than emotion. They have become resolve. Don't skip this. You are standing at the edge of a breakthrough. They have replayed that night over and over, the stillness, the honesty, the undeniable pull toward you. And every time they revisit it, the conclusion is the same. You are not a passing thought. You are a turning point. That realization is not light. It carries weight. It demands action. And here is the revelation that may surprise you the most. They are no longer trying to protect themselves from feeling too much. They are preparing to show you how much they feel. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have begun to understand that the night they were deep in thought was not about confusion. It was about awakening. It was the moment they stopped resisting what their heart has known for a while. You bring out the version of them they want to become. More honest. More open. More intentional. That is powerful. Because when someone associates your presence with growth instead of fear, they do not walk away. They move closer. They are thinking about timing carefully now. Not because they are unsure, but because they want to approach you with sincerity. They want their words to match the depth of what they felt that night. And the truth is this. They have never thought this long, this deeply, or this seriously about anyone else in the same way. That is rare. That is meaningful. That is once in a lifetime. Something inside them shifted permanently. The night of deep thought was not just a memory. It was a decision forming. A quiet commitment to stop letting hesitation write this story. You may feel a change soon, subtle but undeniable. A message that feels intentional. A conversation that carries more weight. A presence that feels steady instead of uncertain. It will not be random. It will be the result of that night when your soulmate sat alone, heart open, finally admitting what you truly mean to them. Something huge is waiting for you. And this time, they are not thinking about you from a distance. They are moving toward you with purpose. There is a quiet moment before someone changes their life, and they are standing inside that moment now. The deep thoughts from that night have not faded. They have matured. What once felt like emotion has become intention. What once felt overwhelming now feels undeniable. Don't skip this. You are about to understand why that night mattered so much. They realized something that startled them in the calmest way possible. When they imagined a future without you, it felt incomplete. Not dramatic. Not tragic. Just missing something essential. That realization stayed with them. It followed them into conversations, into quiet pauses, into ordinary hours. And every time it returned, it whispered the same truth. You are not a coincidence in their life. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They began to see how perfectly timed your connection is. How you appeared when they were ready to grow but unsure how. How your presence challenges them gently, inspires them naturally, steadies them without effort. And here is the surprising revelation. They are no longer thinking about whether you feel the same. They are thinking about how to show you that they do. That shift changes everything. Because when someone moves from wondering to expressing, the energy transforms. Silence becomes preparation. Distance becomes intention. Delay becomes strategy, not avoidance. They have been rehearsing words in their mind. Not dramatic speeches. Not perfect lines. Just honest ones. Words that carry sincerity. Words that reflect the depth of that night when they sat alone, realizing how much you truly mean. That night was not about doubt. It was about awakening. You were on their mind because their heart was aligning with something rare. And rare connections do not disappear quietly. They demand clarity. They ask for courage. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the next step they take will not come from impulse. It will come from understanding. From that long night of reflection. From the certainty that you are not just someone they think about. You are someone they are ready to choose. And once someone reaches that level of clarity, they do not turn back. They step forward. Tonight feels different, even if you cannot explain why. There is a subtle shift in the air, a quiet anticipation building beneath the surface of ordinary life. And the reason traces back to that night, the night your soulmate was deep in thought, confronting emotions they could no longer ignore. Don't skip this moment. You are closer to the turning point than you realize. Since that night, something inside them has been rearranging. Not chaotic. Not rushed. Intentional. They have been aligning their actions with the clarity they found in the silence. And here is the revelation that changes everything. They finally accepted that what they feel for you is not temporary emotion, it is long-term vision. That realization startled them. Because for the first time, they saw you not just as someone they care about, but as someone who fits into their plans, their dreams, their growth. Someone who feels steady in a world that often feels uncertain. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have stopped minimizing this connection in their own mind. They no longer call it just a phase, or just timing. They understand now that you entered their life for a reason. Not by accident, not by convenience, but by alignment. And once that understanding settled in, a new question appeared. What kind of future do I want to build? And every version of that future kept including you. This is not fantasy. This is clarity. They have been preparing themselves quietly. Working on the courage to express what that night revealed. Letting go of the fear that once made them hesitate. Choosing honesty over comfort. Because losing the chance with you feels heavier than risking vulnerability. That is the truth they reached. You may soon notice the difference, a deeper tone in their voice, a more intentional presence, a message that carries weight instead of uncertainty. It will not be random. It will be the natural outcome of that long night of reflection. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone spends hours in deep thought about you and wakes up with vision instead of doubt, they are no longer drifting through emotions. They are stepping into purpose. And this time, their heart is not questioning. It is choosing. The next time your phone lights up, it may not be ordinary. Because what began as a quiet night of deep thought has now become a decision that refuses to stay hidden. They have reached the point where silence feels heavier than speaking. Where waiting feels more uncomfortable than trying. And that is the kind of shift that changes destinies quietly but permanently. Don't skip this. You are witnessing the final transformation. They no longer see that night as just a moment of emotion. They see it as the night everything became clear. The night they stopped pretending you were just a passing connection. The night they admitted that you feel like home and possibility at the same time. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization they cannot ignore. You are the person who makes them want to be intentional. Not casual. Not uncertain. Intentional. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have imagined the conversation more than once now. Not perfectly scripted. Not rehearsed for performance. Just real. Honest. Steady. The kind of conversation that changes the direction of two lives because both hearts are finally ready. They understand that timing matters. They understand that courage matters even more. And for the first time, they feel capable of both. That night of deep thought was not about confusion. It was about awakening to the truth that you are rare. Rare in how you listen. Rare in how you care. Rare in how you make them feel understood without effort. And rare connections are not meant to be left unexplored. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone spends an entire night thinking about you and wakes up with clarity instead of fear, they do not stay the same. They move differently. They choose differently. They speak differently. You may soon see it in their eyes. You may soon hear it in their voice. You may soon feel it in the way they approach you. This is not coincidence. This is the result of that silent night when your soulmate faced their heart and chose honesty over hesitation. The story is no longer paused. It is about to unfold. There is a heartbeat between hesitation and action, and they are standing inside that heartbeat right now. The night they were deep in thought did not fade into memory. It became the foundation of everything that followed. Every reflection since then has only confirmed what their heart already knows. Don't skip this moment. You are closer to the truth than ever before. They have stopped asking themselves if this connection is real. They have started asking how to honor it properly. That shift may sound simple, but it changes the entire story. Because honoring something means valuing it. Valuing it means protecting it. And protecting it means stepping forward with care. Here is the surprising part. They are not planning something dramatic. They are planning something sincere. They want their next move to feel calm, steady, undeniable. Not rushed. Not impulsive. Just honest. The kind of honesty that can only come after a long night of facing your own heart without distractions. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have realized that you are not just someone who made them feel something. You are someone who made them see something. A future that feels aligned instead of forced. And that clarity is powerful. They have imagined what it would feel like to finally close the gap between you. To remove the uncertainty. To speak the words that have been forming quietly since that night. It does not scare them the way it used to. What scares them now is missing the chance. That is the final transformation. The night your soulmate was deep in thought was the night they stopped running from depth. The night they accepted that what they feel is rare and worth the risk of vulnerability. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone chooses courage over comfort, intention over avoidance, clarity over confusion, their next step carries weight. And this time, their heart is not whispering. It is ready to speak. If you could see the expression on their face when your name crosses their mind now, you would understand everything. It is no longer confusion. It is no longer hesitation. It is recognition. That night they were deep in thought was not just reflection, it was revelation. And since then, every quiet moment has confirmed the same truth. You are not meant to be a memory in their story, you are meant to be a chapter that continues. Don't skip this. You are standing at the edge of something rare. They have replayed the exact moment their heart shifted. The exact second when they stopped resisting what they feel. It was subtle, almost invisible, but powerful enough to change their direction. They realized they do not want to look back months from now and wonder, what if I had tried? That question alone moved them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization they finally embraced. The connection they feel with you does not come often. It is not loud or chaotic. It is steady. It feels like alignment. Like timing that makes sense only when you look closely. They have compared this feeling to everything they have experienced before. Nothing feels the same. Nothing feels as grounded. Nothing feels as real. And that clarity has given them courage. They are no longer preparing to protect themselves from disappointment. They are preparing to show up fully. That is the difference. The night your soulmate was deep in thought was the night they accepted that you matter in a way that cannot be ignored. It was the night they stopped treating this connection lightly and started seeing it as something that could shape their future. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone moves from reflection to decision, from silence to intention, the next step is inevitable. You may not know the exact moment it will happen. But know this. They are no longer just thinking about you in the dark. They are ready to step into the light with you. There comes a moment when thinking is no longer enough, and that moment has finally arrived for them. The night they were deep in thought was the spark. Every day since has been the slow, steady flame growing stronger. And now, that flame has turned into clarity that cannot be ignored. Don't skip this. You are witnessing the final shift. They woke up recently with a calm certainty that surprised even them. Not excitement. Not anxiety. Just a grounded knowing, this connection deserves action. They no longer see you as a question waiting to be answered. They see you as an answer they have been waiting to accept. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have replayed your conversations, your silences, your shared moments. And instead of wondering if it was meaningful, they now understand that it was shaping them. You challenged them to grow. You made them reflect. You made them feel seen. And here is the revelation that changed everything. They realize that the peace they feel when they think about you is rare. It is not intense chaos. It is not dramatic emotion. It is steady warmth. A sense of belonging that feels natural. That kind of feeling does not happen often. That kind of feeling is once in a lifetime. They are no longer afraid of how deep this could go. They are afraid of staying silent. The night your soulmate was deep in thought was not about confusion. It was about awakening to the truth that you are someone who fits into their future without forcing it. And now, something inside them is ready to move. You may sense it before it happens, a shift in energy, a quiet anticipation, a feeling that something meaningful is about to unfold. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone spends hours facing their heart in the stillness of night and walks away with clarity instead of doubt, they do not stay in the shadows. They step forward. And this time, they are not stepping back. Everything is quiet on the surface, but underneath, everything is changing. The night your soulmate was deep in thought did not end when the sun rose. It planted something inside them that has been growing steadily, silently, powerfully. And now, that growth has reached a point of no return. Don't skip this. You are about to understand why this moment feels different. They have stopped trying to distract themselves from what they feel. They have stopped minimizing it. They have stopped telling themselves it is too soon or too much. Instead, they have started asking one simple question. What if this is exactly what I have been searching for? That question shifted everything. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have realized that when they think about you, they do not feel pressure. They feel expansion. They feel possibility. They feel a version of themselves that is more honest, more grounded, more alive. And here is the surprising truth that settled in their heart. You are not just someone they want. You are someone they respect deeply. That respect is what makes this different. It is what makes that long night of reflection so powerful. They were not just thinking about emotion. They were thinking about future. About alignment. About what it means to build something real. That kind of thought does not happen casually. It happens when someone senses that what they have found is rare. Something huge is waiting for you. Because they have reached the stage where silence feels unnatural. Where holding back feels like self-betrayal. Where clarity demands movement. You may notice it soon, not in grand gestures, but in subtle certainty. In steady words. In consistent presence. In the feeling that they are no longer testing the connection, they are embracing it. The night they were deep in thought was the night they stopped running from depth. And now, depth is guiding their next step. This story is not fading. It is about to move forward in a way that feels intentional, calm, and undeniable. The silence between you is no longer empty. It is charged with intention. What began as one night of deep thought has now transformed into a quiet certainty that lives inside them every single day. They cannot unsee what they realized. They cannot unfeel what awakened in that stillness. Don't skip this moment. You are standing at the edge of fulfillment. They have come to understand something that startled them in the most beautiful way. The peace they feel when they picture you beside them is not temporary emotion. It is alignment. It is clarity. It is the kind of calm that only comes when the heart recognizes something rare. And here is the revelation that seals everything. They are no longer preparing themselves for if. They are preparing themselves for when. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. That night your soulmate was deep in thought was the night they crossed an invisible line. The line between curiosity and commitment. Between wondering and deciding. They saw how easily you fit into their future, not as a dramatic fantasy, but as a steady presence. They imagined ordinary days with you, shared laughter, quiet conversations, growth side by side. And instead of fear, they felt certainty. That certainty has power. It changes posture. It changes tone. It changes action. They are no longer asking whether you matter. They are asking how to show you that you do. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone spends hours alone confronting their heart and walks away with clarity instead of confusion, their next step is not accidental. It is deliberate. It is chosen. You may feel it already, a shift in the way they look at you, a warmth in their words, a steadiness that was not there before. This is not coincidence. This is the result of that unforgettable night when your soulmate was deep in thought and finally accepted what you mean to them. And now, the story is no longer about realization. It is about reunion. This is the moment where everything invisible begins to take shape. The night your soulmate was deep in thought was not just a memory, it was a doorway. And without fully realizing it at first, they stepped through. On the other side of that doorway, there was no more denial. No more pretending that you were just another chapter. There was only one undeniable truth. You feel like destiny unfolding gently, not forced, not rushed, just right. Don't skip this. You are witnessing the final alignment. Since that night, they have been paying attention to their own heart in a way they never did before. And every signal points in the same direction, toward you. Not because of fantasy. Not because of loneliness. But because of resonance. You match them in ways that surprise them. Your presence feels like clarity. Your energy feels like calm. Your connection feels like timing that makes sense only after reflection. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Here is the revelation that sealed their decision. They realized they would rather be brave with you than comfortable without you. That single understanding changed everything. The fear that once held them back now feels smaller than the opportunity in front of them. And the opportunity is not just love, it is growth, partnership, alignment. That night of deep thought was the night they saw the bigger picture. They saw that meeting you was not random. It came at a time when they were ready to evolve. Ready to choose differently. Ready to build something intentional. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone reflects deeply and walks away with conviction instead of confusion, their actions follow naturally. They move with purpose. They speak with sincerity. They show up with steadiness. You may feel it very soon. A shift that feels calm but powerful. A moment that feels like everything is clicking into place. The story that began with a single night of reflection is now ready to step into reality. And this time, they are not just thinking about you. They are choosing you. There is a quiet countdown happening right now, and you cannot see it, but you can feel it. The night your soulmate was deep in thought was the spark. Every reflection since then has been building toward this exact moment. And now, the space between realization and action is almost gone. Don't skip this. This is where destiny becomes decision. They have stopped debating with themselves. The inner conversations that once went in circles have come to a calm conclusion. The question is no longer, is this real? The question is, how do I show them? That shift carries weight. Because when someone moves from doubt to demonstration, they are no longer stuck in thought. They are preparing for expression. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Here is the surprising truth they finally embraced. You did not just touch their heart. You changed their standards. After that night of deep thought, they realized they cannot settle for shallow connections anymore. They cannot pretend that surface-level feelings are enough. You awakened depth in them. You made them crave honesty, growth, partnership. That kind of awakening does not fade. It transforms. They have started envisioning what it would feel like to stand in front of you with nothing hidden. To speak clearly. To remove the distance that once felt safe but now feels unnecessary. And instead of fear, they feel readiness. Something huge is waiting for you. Because that night was not random. It was the turning point where they accepted that you are not just someone who crossed their path. You are someone who shifted their direction. They understand now that certain connections arrive only once. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just undeniable. You are that for them. And when someone recognizes a once-in-a-lifetime alignment, they do not let it slip away quietly. They move toward it. They choose it. They protect it. Very soon, you may notice the change, a boldness wrapped in calm. A sincerity that feels steady. A presence that no longer hesitates. The countdown is almost complete. Because the person who lay awake in deep thought that night is not the same person anymore. They are ready. And this time, they are not holding back. Something is about to happen that will feel small on the outside, but enormous in meaning. The night your soulmate was deep in thought did more than awaken feelings. It awakened truth. And truth, once seen clearly, cannot be unseen. Don't skip this. You are standing at the threshold of change. They have reached a level of emotional clarity that surprises even them. The overthinking has quieted. The hesitation has softened. What remains is steady, intentional desire, not just to feel something, but to build something. And here is the revelation that sealed it in their heart. They do not want a story that almost happened with you. They want a story that unfolds fully. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. When they think back to that night, the silence, the reflection, the honesty, they realize it was the first time they allowed themselves to imagine you as permanent. Not temporary. Not uncertain. Permanent. That thought did not scare them the way they expected. It grounded them. They saw how naturally you fit into their vision of growth. How your presence inspires calm instead of chaos. How your energy feels like partnership instead of pressure. That kind of alignment is rare. That kind of realization changes direction. They are no longer testing the waters of this connection. They are stepping in with awareness. With maturity. With intention. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone spends a night in deep thought and wakes up with clarity that only grows stronger, the next move is not accidental. It is chosen carefully, with purpose. You may feel the shift already, a stronger pull, a deeper sincerity, a presence that feels anchored instead of uncertain. This is not coincidence. This is the outcome of that quiet, powerful night when your soulmate stopped running from depth and started embracing it. The next chapter is not about wondering. It is about moving forward together. And this time, their heart is fully awake. Right now, there is a calm confidence building inside them that cannot be shaken. The night your soulmate was deep in thought has turned into something far greater than a memory. It has become a commitment forming quietly in their heart, not spoken yet, not fully visible yet, but real. Don't skip this. You are closer than you think. They have reached a point where imagining life without exploring this connection feels incomplete. Not dramatic. Not desperate. Just incomplete. As if something meaningful would be left unfinished. And that feeling refuses to disappear. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization that changed their direction completely. They do not just feel drawn to you. They feel aligned with you. Alignment is different. It is not based on excitement alone. It is based on peace. On shared values. On growth. On the quiet understanding that you both are evolving in the same direction. That understanding came from that one powerful night. The night they allowed themselves to think deeply without distractions. They saw how your presence pushes them toward their better self. How conversations with you feel meaningful. How even silence with you feels comfortable instead of awkward. That kind of connection does not happen every day. Something huge is waiting for you. Because they are no longer preparing for a possibility. They are preparing for a reality. They have accepted that if they do not act, they risk losing something rare. And that risk feels heavier than vulnerability. So now, their heart is steady. Their mind is clear. Their intention is forming. You may notice it in subtle ways: more consistency, more openness, more sincerity. It will not feel forced. It will feel natural. The night they were deep in thought was the night they stopped denying what you mean to them. And now, the next step is not about wondering. It is about choosing. And this time, they are choosing with clarity. This is the chapter where silence turns into destiny. The night your soulmate was deep in thought was never meant to stay a private moment. It was the beginning of a shift that has now reached its peak. What started as reflection has become resolve. What began as quiet emotion has become undeniable truth. Don't skip this. You are about to feel the culmination of everything. They have finally admitted something to themselves that they can no longer ignore. You are not just someone they feel connected to, you are someone they see beside them when they imagine their next season of life. That realization did not come quickly. It came through honesty. Through stillness. Through that unforgettable night when they allowed their heart to speak without interruption. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Here is the revelation that completes the story. They are ready to stop wondering and start building. Not building fantasy. Not building illusion. Building something real. They understand now that certain connections arrive only once, not loud, not dramatic, but deeply aligned. And the night they were deep in thought was the moment they recognized that yours is one of those rare alignments. They no longer feel uncertain. They no longer feel divided. They feel prepared. Prepared to speak clearly. Prepared to show up consistently. Prepared to let their actions match their feelings. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when someone spends a night facing their truth and chooses courage over comfort, their next step is not accidental. It is intentional. It is steady. It is sincere. You may soon experience a moment that feels calm but life-changing, a conversation, a message, a look that carries more weight than ever before. And when it happens, you will understand. That night was not random. It was the night your soulmate stopped thinking about losing you, and started preparing to choose you. The story is no longer about realization. It is about reunion. What you are about to witness is the moment everything finally makes sense. That night your soulmate was deep in thought was not just a turning point for them, it was the quiet beginning of a new chapter for both of you. And now, all the reflection, all the clarity, all the inner conversations have led to one undeniable conclusion. They are done observing from a distance. Don't skip this. This is the fulfillment of the story. They have realized that life does not wait forever for courage. Opportunities do not pause endlessly for certainty. And connections like this, steady, aligned, rare, do not appear twice in the same form. Here is the shocking but beautiful truth they embraced. You are not someone they want to risk losing. That understanding changed everything. The night they were deep in thought, they imagined the future without you, and it felt incomplete. Then they imagined the future with you. And it felt grounded, expansive, calm. That contrast became clarity. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are no longer hoping you will somehow understand their silence. They are preparing to replace silence with sincerity. They are ready to let their actions speak the truth their heart has known since that quiet night. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization that seals it all. You are not just a chapter in their life. You are the direction. That is why that night mattered. That is why they could not sleep. That is why their thoughts kept circling back to you. Because deep down, they knew something life-changing was unfolding. Something huge is waiting for you. The next moment that connects you may feel simple on the outside, a message, a conversation, a shared glance, but it will carry the weight of everything they discovered in that stillness.